Hi everybody. I'm Kate from Adventures Without a Roadmap,
I'm Val from A Grammar Nerd's Life.
and today we are going to discuss the educational system and how they're similar and different in Canada and America.
I'm in Quebec. I live in the Montreal area. Here I realized after having so many American friends that, oh my God, this system is so different. You start in kindergarten at 5 years old, and then you are in elementary school from grade 1 to 6, and then you go to high school. So there's no middle school, no junior high. You go to high school from grade 8 to 11. I love that I still have to think about that to compare. And after that, you have college and university, which are two different things from America. Do you want to explain how it is in America?
Yeah, so we do, it's different everywhere. But we have our kindergarten through, we do kindergarten through eighth grade, and then we have our high school. So our high school is 9 through 12. But like I grew up and I went to a Catholic school, so K through 8 was elementary school. Or no, it was just our grade school. We used grade school and elementary school interchangeably. And then I never knew the difference. And then I had friends that went to public school and they were like, oh, I went to elementary school and then I went to grade school. And I'm like, what's the difference?
Uh-huh.
But apparently there's like K through 2 is like, oh, wait, no, at our school, K through 2, it's a primary school. Then you go to, there's a whole other word for you. K through 2 is primary. Then third through, ours is like third through 6. So we're the elementary school. And then seventh and eighth is junior high. And then 9 through 12 is high school. But like,
so complicated.
there's so
so many layers.
words. Like, I don't know why there's so many. That's why, like, when I went to school, it was just K through 8. We went to elementary school or we went to grade school, and it was all one thing. But then, so when you do your kids are in, is it 6 through 11 or 7 through 11? 11 or 12? Is it?
Wait, what are we talking about now?
For your high school? Is it?
You start high school when you're 11? Well,
so are they?
So you finish elementary school in sixth grade, and then you go to high school. So I guess you're like 12.
Building as the high schoolers? Like, are they all sharing like a?
No,
do you
different
have like?
schools.
So your 11-year-olds aren't going to school in the same building as the 15 seniors or the.
Nope. No. So elementary school. So you will have kids that are 5 years old with kids who are, I guess, 11 or 12. I can't remember what age you are, but so usually how they split it is you have like I'm gonna say it like that, but I don't know exactly the terms, but you have like the smaller kids schoolyard and the bigger kids schoolyard. Mm-hmm. So like, well, now with COVID it's all like different. I don't even understand their system, but so like in my elementary school there was a very small yard for the kindergartners only, and then you had a schoolyard for kids from grade 1st to 3rd, and then 4, 5, 6 were in another schoolyard, but it's all in the same building.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Up to 6.
Up to 6, yeah.
And then the 7 through 11.
Yeah, they are
all on the same?
Yep. Well, obviously, it was not the same exactly for me because in my hometown, you did. So it's called secondary school, technically. Well, if I translate it literally. So I did secondary 1 and 2, so which is grade 8 and 9 in a school, and then I did secondary 3 to 5 in another school. But now it was, I guess, too complicated, so they are like regular high schools. So you have from grade 8 to 11. No, I can't count. 7 to 11. In the same school. So yeah, you basically have 12 years old with 16 years old kids.
Are they like do they see each other in like the
Yeah,
hallways and stuff? Or they
yeah.
That's such a huge age gap.
Oh, you think
That's scary.
when you're in secondary five, you think you're the kings of the school. So I was bullied. Well, bullied a lot. I've seen worse, but um, I remember when I got to secondary five, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm the shit," you know.
And
But
that's
yeah,
the 11 or which grade is 7 secondary 5?
five. It's grade 11.
So yeah, you feel like the top of the school then,
Oh yeah, yeah. You think
or
you're
because you
like,
are the top of the school.
yeah. Well, you technically are, but yeah, it's such a big age gap. But I
That's
guess we're all used to it.
that's crazy, yeah. Because ours is our K through. I mean, when I was in school, K through 8 was all in the same building, and so you never really got the complex until you were in 8th grade because you always had kids older than you up until
Hmm.
8th grade. And so that was nice. Now we have, like at our school that I teach at, like the K through 2 kids are all in their own school building. They're in the primary school. And then you have a 3rd through 6th school. And then you have the 7th through 12 high school. And so, like,
Okay.
we only have 3rd through 6th graders together. So it's not like, I mean, it's still a giant age gap. That 3rd grade to 6th grade, that's a huge
Yeah,
gap
at that age it
in.
is.
That's a big one. But then you also have the 6th graders with that mentality of I'm the top of the school
Yep.
in 6th grade. And so like when I was in 6th grade, I was still 2 grades below the top dogs of the 8th graders. And so, but then we have 7 through 12 together, which is different for me because I'm used to in Kansas, even when there was the junior high, it was still like 9 through 12 was high school. And so now it's like I think they have a junior high section of the building, so I don't think they overlap too much. I think it's like the 7th and 8th grade hang out, and then the 9 through 12 are the high school.
I
So
guess this is
it's,
better for teenagers.
yeah, kind of keeping them separate a little bit.
Yeah.
But, no, and then the college and university thing is crazy. Like, I don't like wrap my head around how you guys do college and university, or like what that means. Because,
Well, I told you that
yeah.
the concept of college in Quebec is a bit stupid because it's just like, well, as I said, well, to you before, you can go to the regular college or you can go to the technical college. So technical college will lead you to um, like a job. You can be a nurse, you can be like so many specific careers don't require you to go to university. You just need the technical college diploma. So but the regular college is a waste of time when you're waiting to go to university. So I was studying literature. So when I finished college, what was I supposed to do with that degree? Like I was working at a grocery store as a cashier. Like there's nothing more that I can do. But after that, I went to university to get an actual degree. But
Uh,
you can't go from high school to university. So you have to wait until you're either 21 or you have to have a college diploma. So basically, I would say college is like, well, you're somewhere between 17 and 19, but there are some people who are 30 years old who are still trying to figure out what they want to do. But yeah, most people are like between 17 and 20, let's say that. And it's basically a high school with beer because, oh, by the way, the legal age here is 18. So when you're 18, you
okay.
can buy beer legally. So yeah, basically college is high school with beer, like, and philosophy classes. That's
Do
the
kids
only.
live on, is there like campuses in college?
I'm
Do you
sure
have,
there are, but like I grew up in the
I guess,
Montreal area. Everybody lives by like close, like to go to college. So my decision was so stupid. I wanted to go to this college when I applied when I was in my last year of high school, but there was one girl who believed me that was going to the same college, and I was like, oh my god, I don't want to be with her again. So I went to another college that was in the same area, but that one would take me like an hour and a half to commute because I had to use the bus and the subway, which we call the metro, by the way. Yeah, so this one would take me an hour and a half to get there and to go back home after. And turns out, like, now I know I would have never seen her, you know. Like, college is
There's so many people.
so many people. But I forgot what I was going with that. But yeah, anyway, college is a waste of time.
Well, it's interesting. Like, were there like college get-togethers and stuff, or was that like more a university? A university? Do people stay in
Oh
dorms?
yeah, I remember your question now. So yeah, for college, I know there are dorms because I'm sure there are people coming from abroad to study. Like, I know that my college had the, oh my goodness, I don't know how it's called in English at all. You know, when you die, people do things with your body before.
Oh, like a mortuary science, like
Yeah, so
like
my
a
college is the only college in the province of Quebec that does this program. So I know we had plenty of students from God knows where that went to this specific college. So I'm sure there are dorms, but university, I know there are, but I've never been to one because it took me like 3 minutes to get to university from my parents' house. So I didn't have to use
okay.
it, you know? So, oh, and yeah, I didn't tell you that. To me, sororities and fraternities are a completely weird concept. I don't understand it. I've never, maybe there was one because I went to an English university in downtown Montreal, but like to me it's just like in Hollywood movies. And Sean was like, no, Val, this is real. Like, this
It's
is
all over.
real.
Yeah, it's super common. Um, no, I was actually in one my freshman and sophomore year. I transferred colleges, but my freshman and sophomore year, I was in a sorority that was like a just a local sorority, so only that college had that sorority. Um, we were like the most chill sorority on campus. We were all about like stuffed animals and movies and just hanging out. And we were like the um, and we had cool parties and stuff. But junior and senior year when I transferred, I stupidly joined the sorority, which was pointless, and there were fees, and I was late to a meeting once when I was driving back
Oh
from my
my
hometown.
god, I
And so
would
I got
never
some
be in one.
yeah, so I got
What the
some like
hell?
late fee, and there was like it was crazy. I didn't like it. It was not for me. And I my college career, junior and senior year, is such a blur and a mess. So that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I mean, there's like, but that one was a national sorority, and so like my brothers were both Pikes in the Pike fraternity, and like a Pike is in that's a national fraternity, and it's in like every college. But there's the fraternity is also like if you're a Pike, like if my brother went to go like apply for a job somewhere, and then there was like a Pike was the say like the manager at this position or like the CEO of this company was also like a Pike, and they like found out that like my brother was a Pike, and they knew Pikes from like there were things they might be like, oh, we're like Pike brothers, and so then they would like kind of give you like it's kind of like it's kind of like a networking thing type with
Okay.
with the national ones. I think like there's some like a little bit of a brotherhood, and I only know more about Pikes than I do about the sororities because my brother was a frat. We're in the frats, but yeah, it's a huge thing. But also, like college in the U.S. is very. I mean, there's a lot of people that go to. I was in the dorm life, and so my first college, you were required to live in the dorms until your junior year. Senior year, you could live off campus, but 9th, 10th, and or your first 3 years of college, you like at the college I went to, you had to live on campus. And then your
Okay, you
senior
have to give
or
me a minute. I just realized that my cat is stuck in my closet. Just give me a minute. I thought she got out, but clearly not. Oh my god, I'm gonna get this. So you know how freaked out I am about ghosts? And I was like, there's something moving there. But then I heard like, meow.
Was that her yelling when you let her out?
Yes.
It sounded like a really like pissed off like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she is not happy.
like I was like that sounds like one angry cat.
Oh yeah, she is
Um
not happy. So yeah, you were saying that was like networking. Oh no, you were saying that you had to be on campus. Like you had
yeah,
to I don't understand
at
that. I would have
at
freaked
this
out so
university.
much.
At this university. But then see, but I loved it because like it was such a like it was such a community. Like college was such a like when you just like drive from off campus and come on, like when you're just commuting, like you're going just for school and you're just going for the education. Whereas like we were going for, I mean, we ate in the dining hall together all the time and we had like breakfast in the dining hall. Like you, that was like your home and it was like your neighborhood and it was kind of like your, so that was kind of like our whole, like you would go to parties and then you would go to sleep in your dorm and then you would like go to breakfast with people. And it was just kind of like, it became a, college is like, it's like the whole experience. It wasn't just about class.
Interesting.
At least in my experience with going to college and the people that I like my brothers and stuff. I mean, I don't know what the commuter's life is like with it. Like, so I'm sure the commuter's life would be way different. Those and
Yeah.
especially at schools you can commute to. Like
Hmm.
when I transferred my junior year and went to school in Kansas City, it was I mean, you could choose if you lived on campus or not. And that's a whole other thing too, because like my first college, we could do a whole thing on colleges. My first college was a private university, and it was co-ed dorms, which I loved. And it was like there was like my dorm with me and the girls, and then next door to us was boys, and then next door to them was girls, and it was like every other. And so, um, but then when I went to the other school, it was a Catholic Jesuit school, and there were girl dorms and boy dorms, and there was like curfews, and you had to like check in at the front desk of the girl dorms, and then you had to like give them your card, and then you had to be out by like 10 o'clock at night, or like there was all these rules, and I was just
Oh
like,
my God.
I was like, this is nuts. So, because I come from like my first 2 years, I came from where I could just like I mean, I shared a balcony with guys my sophomore year. Like my balcony, like that one was a little bit weird because our balcony was connected to our neighbors, which were guys, and so we shared a balcony with them. So we like didn't shut our curtain and stuff. The guys
Hmm.
could just like. Luckily, I trusted the guys that I was
At least.
balcony mates with, but like, yeah, I mean, it was like I went from sharing a balcony with guys to like going to a school where like you had to like check in at the girls' dorm and the
But I
guys'
don't
dorm, and you
understand. At that school, were you an adult or
well,
were you still a minor?
I was, what year did I graduate? I graduated high school when I was, um, I graduated, I think I was in college from 19 to 22, maybe. So I was like 19 to 22. So, I mean, we couldn't drink till we were 21, but like you're in a college dorm, people are
Yeah,
going to
I
drink when they're
mean,
younger.
you're
But
gonna drink.
I mean, technically, I mean, I was an adult. I mean, you could be on your own and stuff. Like we were adults, but I don't know. It feels like this fake, not fake. It's like you're on this like bridge that there's like the kid side, and then you got the college in the middle. You're like halfway between this like, and then you as soon as you leave college, it's like adulthood. Like party's over. This is real life. So kind of like college is like your last like you're living in the real world. You're living in a dorm. You're living on your own. But then afterwards, you like go out into the world. I
Uh-huh.
don't know. It's kind of complex, but my relationship with college is like a whole story in itself. But I did not live in the dorms my junior and senior year. My senior year, I lived in a house. And my junior, our school had townhouses, and so there was like a living room and a kitchen, and then upstairs there were like 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. And so me and one of my best friends and I became roommates there, which was all by chance. They just like threw me in a random townhouse, and I happened to get an awesome roommate. But I was like, I told my parents, I was like, I will not go from sharing a balcony with guys. And well, I didn't use that example with my mom, but like, I will not go from like this like co ed dorm to a dorm of like with these rules. I was like, no. So I'm either gonna live in a house or I'm gonna like live in the townhouse where it's like, because our dorms, the dorms at the school were like, you had to go like walk down the hallway to use the bathroom, and all the girls would like use the same like bathrooms and like showers and stuff. And then at my dorm, my freshman and sophomore year, they were all suite style bedrooms. So we had like our room, a bathroom, and the other room. And so we shared like a bathroom with another group of girls. So we each had our own private bathroom basically. And a maid would come clean our rooms every 2 weeks. And they would come vacuum for us and stuff. So they were rated like top dorms in Cosmo Girl one year. They were really nice. It was a really expensive school. Which I'm still paying for that one. But see, that's the other thing is I don't know what the difference is in college and university. I use the terms interchangeably. Like I went to Trinity University or my dad worked at Friends University. But then you have schools like Boston College, and I don't think Boston College is anything different than a university. I think they just use like my dad's a college professor, but he teaches at a university. Like I don't even know. I need to look that up. I don't know
so
that
interesting.
I don't know that we use the terms college and university, so like we just interchange them. Like they're the same thing in our terminology. I mean, you have junior college. Have you heard of those?
Oh my goodness, you're gonna add another layer. Of
Well,
course you have junior college. Why not?
Well, like JUCO kind of reminds me of your guys' college. So like the junior college is like the local one where everyone goes to get like, not everyone. You can go there to get like prereqs, like you're like required, like kind of like I think it's a lot like your guys' college.
Sounds
and
like
it's cheaper, and they call them JUCO, so they're just like small local colleges. We're also student athletes. If they want to play sports, they'll usually go to JUCOs because it's easier to get on those teams than it is like D1 schools and stuff. But then, so it's still college and it still counts. Like at the end of your 2 years, you have an associate's degree. But then a lot of times what they do is they transfer then from that JUCO to like a 4-year university and finish their 2 years there. So like, it's kind of like the college university, I think. Maybe that's the closest way. I think it would be like your version of college. Kind of
like college here is really inexpensive. So okay, I know that education isn't as expensive here as it is in the US, but just to give you an example, I think for university it costed me like maybe $1,500 per semester, maybe a bit more, but I was like studying translation, so I didn't have like very expensive manuals, just maybe a couple. But so yeah, maybe $1,500 per semester, and college was $110.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there a difference in like, are there private universities and public universities, or?
That's a good question.
Like, are there ones that are like more expensive and less expensive, and like I went to like
I know that in downtown Montreal, so I went to Concordia University, which is one of the 2 English universities. The other one is McGill University, and this is the one where you go if you want to be a doctor. And I know that when I applied to like study translation, I applied to McGill, Concordia, and the University of Montreal, which is a French university, but this one was much farther away, and I didn't really like it. You know, when you visit a place and you just don't like the vibe. So yeah. I got accepted, but I didn't go. I don't think I got an answer from McGill, but anyway, I was accepted to Concordia, and this is where I wanted to go. But yeah, I know that. I think it really depends on what you want to study. So I know if you want to be a doctor, you go to McGill. If you want to be an engineer, you go to Concordia. Well, Concordia does have one of the best translation programs. Maybe I'm saying that because I went there and I loved the school. Like, I love that school. Like, I would go back tomorrow. I know that if you want to study business, you went to Concordia because there's the John Molson School of Business, which is apparently a big thing. If you wanted to study like specific subject, you would go to McGill. And if you wanted to be a hippie, you went to the University of Quebec in Montreal. And this is actually where I applied to be a teacher, well, to study to be a teacher, and this is where I dropped out. It's really like, I'm saying that with no really, like, I actually like that school, University of Quebec in Montreal, but it is kind of a bunch of hippies. Like, I'm not saying it in a bad way, but like, everybody's high
I would
all the
totally fit
time.
in. Okay, that's not me, but
Yeah, everybody's high all the time.
I bet it's a really relaxed school.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
probably never change.
definitely. I wouldn't be stressed at all there. At all. And yeah, so yeah, all of this to say that college really wasn't expensive. So like for 2 years, oh my god, me and calculus. Like I can't calculate by myself. But anyway, let's say 220 per year times two. It's $440 for college in total.
And then
But
the
you can get
university is like
anywhere.
3,000.
Um, well, it depends. I know that. So when I was like 3 years old, my great grandma passed away, and she gave me money, and my grandma placed it really well, and I got like 10K when I was in university. So it paid for almost all of my studies, including my books. And I only had to take a loan for 5K. So my whole translation degree cost me 15K. Like, it's been paid years ago.
That's like one less than a year of college.
Oh my god.
At least at the private college.
Uh-huh.
God, I don't know. I think mine was like, is it 30 a year? 30 a year? 30? Was it 25? I don't know. It was a
How
lot.
are you supposed to pay that? I don't understand.
It was
Like,
a
it
lot.
doesn't
It's a
make
lot more
sense.
now than I realize. Like when I was, like when that's the big thing with like the whole student loans and like they were like, oh, the sky's the limit when you're a senior in high school and like go wherever you want, go where your heart desires and all this stuff. But you're not really thinking about like loans and interest and I mean, my parents are helping me out with mine, but like I've been paying on them for a couple of years now. I'm trying to do the student loan forgiveness program,
Mm-hmm.
where you work in a public service agency and then you pay based on your income, and then in 10 years your loans are supposed to be forgiven. That's if our government stops trying to get rid of this program.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they get rid of it, then I'm screwed, and I'm going to be like, because I have like 7 years left on it. This 10 years feels like it's going on forever, but I have like 10 years of it. And so if the government decides to get rid of it, then I'm really screwed with how much I still owe. Because like right now, because of the pay as you earn, I now owe more than I took out because of interest. Because
Oh
the
my!
interest,
Oh, you have interest.
oh, the
What?
interest, yeah, the interest is so high. And so like I now like I've been paying like every month, and like, but like I'm not paying enough to like cover the interest each month because of the pay as you earn, because
Mm-hmm.
my income is so low.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of this public service loan forgiveness, is they want you to go to college and then work in the public service fields, which doesn't pay crap. So like being a teacher, I'm not making hardly anything, and so like I don't have enough to like pay off all my loans, and so that's why they're like, they want you to go into these public service jobs, but it's not like I could be like a doctor and then like just pay it off really quick, so it's
Yeah.
like, but that's a whole nother story because medical school is through the roof expensive. But
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of just like, if they get rid of this program, then I am going to be completely screwed. Because yeah, like literally our interest is so high. Like I think even after I've been paying every year for 3 years now, like I literally owe more than I took out.
I can't
So like,
believe you have interest. I could be wrong, okay? Because I couldn't have a student loan from the government because I was living with my parents and I was under 25, right? I don't remember. Anyway, but my parents couldn't afford it because they weren't rich. So I couldn't, and I did have the money from my great grandma who passed away when I was a kid. And so, anyway, I couldn't get a student loan. My ex couldn't get a student loan as well. But as far as I know, when you're getting one, it's no interest. So you have 10 years to pay it back once you're done, but it's no interest. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I remember. And I got my loan for the remaining 5K that I needed, and it was like 2% interest, maybe. Like, it's nothing.
That's sucky.
Yeah.
Ours is just like, ours, if they get rid of the public service loan forgiveness, crossing my fingers that they don't, but if they do, it basically will just become like a life tax thing where it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, every month for the rest of my life, I'm going to pay $100 a month.
This is
Where
ridiculous.
it's never going to pay it off because it's just going to get bigger and bigger. It's just like, unless I come upon a giant, if they get rid of that, then I'm going to have to try and figure out a way to like pay it off. But I don't make enough each month, or I don't make enough as a teacher to pay it, which is why I'm also working on alternative streams of income.
Yeah.
Eventually this YouTube channel is going to take off and the blog's going to take off and I'm going to totally pay all this. But yeah, so I'm just like, yeah, it's expensive. I mean, so granted, not all schools are that expensive. That's why a lot of people go to the JUCO, because the JUCO is a lot cheaper. You know, it's like closer to your guys' cost. The JUCO is cheap. You go when you get your prereqs done, you get yours like algebra and intro to philosophy and your intro. You take all your like intro courses and stuff. You get all those out of the way, and then you go to the 2 years. But like I went to, both my schools were private, so they're way more expensive than like K-State or KU or like, so they're more expensive than what those would have been. Because like James went to KU in Lawrence, and so his loans are like done because his was a lot cheaper than mine. So some of it's based on if we're going to private school or not, which I don't regret going to the private one just because I had such an amazing experience. Some of it, but
it sucks that it's
so
not normal that you now owe more than back when you started paying. It doesn't make sense.
It's because I'm not paying a lot on them every month, but it's like you're paying this like they like calculate what you make and they tell you like what you need to pay each month. And so like for a while, for like the first year, I paid $0 a month, and that counted towards my 10 years. But my income was so low that I didn't have to pay anything. But during that time, interest is like, when I'm paying $0, my interest was just like building up.
Oh my God.
And so if the program works out, it's going to be great because it's all just going to go away in 7 years.
Yeah, of course. It's going to pass.
If it doesn't work out and our president keeps trying to get rid of it, then I'm screwed.
Oh my God. Wow. It makes you want to go to school. Like, hey, I want to pay debts for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I'm like, because then I went to, because I got, do you guys have, is there another program after, like you were going to go, when you got your teaching degree, would you have had to like, do you guys have like master's degrees and stuff?
We have master's and doctorate as well.
So you could go on to those things too. Okay. So those are like the same. I think your college diploma is probably a lot like our associate's degree, which is our 2-year college. So a lot of people like go to college for 2 years and they get an associate's degree, but you can't do anything until you go get your 4-year degree and get your bachelor's.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So I think it's like kind of the same thing. It's just a lot of different terminologies.
It's so different. It's so interesting. But I'm just not over the fact that school costs so much in the US. Like, I know Sean still hasn't paid off his student loan, and I know he hasn't finished university because it was too expensive. So it's like, I want to go to school, but I can't afford it. But if I want a job to be able to afford it, I need to go to school. It's just like, how do you get out of that cycle?
Yeah. Well, like, to be a teacher, like, you have to pay, like, so much money to get the program. James and I were going to do that 2-year program with Wichita State University, and where we were going to get our teaching degrees, and it was going to be a 2-year program, and you had to work as a para during those 2 years, And then after the 2 years, you would get your license. But you'd have to be going to school full time for 2 years, which I had a few friends that did that. I don't know how you would afford to be a para and doing the school and stuff for the 2 years, but that was $18,000 for that program. Like for a 2 year program, this is after you have a master's degree or a college degree. Like I already had a master's in something else, and like, oh yeah, if you want to go back and get this, like, do this 2 year program to become a teacher, like you could pay 18,000. I was like, no. So then James and I found University of Denver in Colorado had they have a 1 year program where you can get hired by a school and teach, and it's only $5,000, and it's only 1 year. So,
which is
our
reasonable.
school, yeah, I was like, okay, I could do 5,000. I was like,
Hmm.
I'll just like I can do that. But then our school, actually, the school that we got hired by, they paid for our $5,000 program. Like we didn't have to pay anything.
Wow.
And they didn't have any stipulations, so they weren't like, you have to work here for 5 years after we pay it off. They were just like, after you get it, you're free to go, but we hope you stay. And so, yeah, we did that one. So luckily, I mean, but then I got my master's. That was another thing. I got my master's in social work. Not doing anything with that. I have the degree. I paid all the money for it. And I'm like, that's some of the problem with making the decision to go to college at 18, because you don't know what, like, fresh out of high school, you don't know what you want to do.
Nope.
Like, I mean, some people do. And like, those first 2 years are kind of about discovering what you want to do, but you don't know.
Yeah, but I know I got lucky because I told you I wanted to be a teacher and I dropped out after a week. But when I was in college, so I was in the arts and literature program. So you had literature, obviously, arts, cinema, and languages. So you had elective classes to take in the other categories of the arts and literature department. So I had to choose between arts. I have zero talent. I can draw you a stick figure and that's pretty much it. Or translation, like initiation to translation or whatever. I don't remember how it was called. And I was like, not gonna go into arts, obviously. I hate it. So I took this class and I actually enjoyed it. Like I wasn't as bilingual as I am right now, but I enjoyed it. So when I decided I did not want to be a teacher anymore because it wasn't for me, I was like, you know what? I had fun in translation. Let's do that. Turns out I really like that. I really like it. But I know I got lucky.
So I would freak out thinking I was translating things wrong.
Oh, well, somebody will always review you. Like, we have all these, at work, we have all these processes, and I do take translation contracts on the side, but usually they come from one of, like, my best friend in university who was also studying translation. So I know she's going to review my text, so if there's anything, she's going to catch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Wow. I think we talked about it.
Covered. Yeah. And went off on some little tangents, but that's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
I love the differences.
It's so different. Like, I'm still confused about what a freshman and a sophomore is. And, I know Sean told me a million times.
Yeah, so the freshman and sophomore is just 9 and 10.
Why don't say 9 and 10? Why give them
they call them they call them like 9th graders and 10th graders, but they have like the terms because it's the freshman and sophomore is 9th and 10th, and then you have junior is 11 and senior is 12. So they kind of have like.
I can get behind seniors because I understand the principle, but see, I would have put junior as freshmen because they are younger. Anyway, I don't.
Well, we're like junior high, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get it now.
But junior high is 7th and 8th grade.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, because then you were saying like the JV and the varsity.
Yeah,
because because the varsity is like the top of the line team. Like you're like the top one. You're gonna go to state. You're gonna be the one doing like competing that stuff. But like JV is like the intermediate level of the sport. They're kind
Yeah.
of the because some schools have like a freshman team, so you might be on the freshman basketball team, then you made it on the JV team, and then you got on the senior or on the varsity team. But some like freshmen are really good, and they just skip freshman and JV, and they just get to play varsity.
Wow.
And so, like I played tennis in high school, and so I played on the varsity team my 4 years of high school. Not that I was like that great, but I went to state once or twice. But so I played varsity tennis, but then there was like the JV team, which was like one step down, which was like, I mean, they still play competitive. Like they went to the tournaments and they did all that stuff. It was just, they had their own league. Like you're playing other JV teams. And then I was playing other varsity teams.
Huh.
And so it's just kind of it's kind of like the league. I mean, you want to get up to varsity because that varsity is who's looking at colleges and all that stuff. But yeah, we just kind of separate them in the different levels of
Yeah, it's
athletic ability.
interesting because, like, as I was telling Sean, because we were watching Friday Night Lights, I'm not even sure if we had a football. Like, I think we had a football team because I know my sister dated a football player, like from high school. But do we have competitions? Do we have? I have no idea. Seriously, I know that hockey is a big thing here, but like, you're in a league. It's not with your school, you know.
It's not with the school.
And like, I was on the dance team, but did we do competition? I don't think so. I'm not sure. I know my sister did, but she had a different dance teacher. They hired another dance teacher because we're like 6 years. We have a 6 years difference. But I'm not sure if we did competitions. Yeah. I don't think sports, like high school sport, is as intense here as it is in the US.
Especially if you're looking at football and Friday Night Lights, and Texas football is like intense. Like I went to school in Texas for my first 2 years, and my friend and I got jobs as the you can get in college you could be a what do they call it, like the work study program. I don't know if you guys have that there. It's because the college is so expensive. You can do work study, so you could like do random jobs at the college, and then you get paid by the college, and so then you can just make money on the side.
I'm sure we have that. I just
So I mean, they're
never
just like
applied.
college. They're just like college jobs. And so
Like,
my friend and I made our own position. We like, I don't know where we got the idea freshman year. We were like, we need a job. Let's go ask the football team if they have a job for us. I don't know where that came from. So we went and talked to the head coach, and he was like, we don't have a football manager position or a football like work study position. And so he kind of like went and like talked to the work study people, and he like created this manager position for us. And we like hung out in the football coach's office all day, and we would get all like recruit letters, and we would like type all the recruits information into the program, so then the coaches then could just pull it up and be like, oh, there's this kid looking at us from here. And football is huge in Texas. But yeah, I like worked. I mean, we got to go to the games and got a little uniform shirt and filled up water bottles, but then the cheerleaders usually filled up the water bottles, so we usually didn't have any job on the sidelines. We just kind of hung out and felt special.
Just because I'm such a huge fan of the show now, like we've been binge watching it, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. But like, I can tell you that a week ago I couldn't have cared less. Now I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's pretty big there for sure.
I'm glad to know that it's not because of a show. Like,
no, high school sports are a big thing in the US. Like, I mean, it's huge. Like, that's how you go to like play college. I mean, same as how college sports are so big, like in the US. Like, that's like everything, like KU basketball and K-State and all the rivalries and stuff. And
I know that. Well, I'm gonna say college football, but I think, like, for me it's university, but I think it's college football. I know like my university had a football team. I know that all the university I think that all the universities in Montreal have a football team. I know that McGill used to have a Quidditch team, from Harry Potter. I'm
That's
not kidding.
awesome.
I don't know if it still exists, but I know that 5 years ago it was a thing. And I know that like they play national. I know that people who are real fans are really intense about it because my boss went to the University of Montreal and her boyfriend. No, they're not married, so boyfriend. He went there and he's a huge fan of the football team from University of Montreal. But like when they paint their faces, the colors of the team, and it's like it's just university guys. It's not the Super Bowl. It's not even the Grey Cup, like which is the equivalent in Canada of the Super Bowl. Well, the equivalent, it's not as big, but yeah, it's so interesting. It's like we are separated by a border, but the cultures are so different, and I love that.
They are. And I don't know, I feel like you get so stuck in like your own way of life that you don't see its own uniqueness.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, like America is just boring. Like there's nothing unique about us. But then I see how other places do stuff, and I'm like, oh, we're like different than them. Like there's like this, which I guess can relate to us as individuals too. Where I'm like, oh, I'm boring, but I'm like, no, we each have like these cool perspectives to share. And
Yeah.
so it's
It
fun.
was so fun. It was so
I'm working on my
interesting.
mindset.
Yeah.
Working on that. But yeah, that's fun. But yeah, this is kind of for those watching, it's going to be kind of our theme is adult life across borders, universal, just kind of fun topics like this. Like
random, but not so random.
Like school, things that everyone adulting can relate to in some way, hopefully.
Oh, my throat was killing me.
But yeah, this is fun.
And
we totally want people to ask questions at some point because then I like answer questions.
Yeah.
Especially once we get out.
We should make an email for this though. Or
we should.
Yeah. We're going to get back on that. Yeah.
Once we know our name.
Yeah, maybe we should come up with it before we post it.
So if anyone has ideas of names.
Yeah, send them to us on Instagram at a grammar nerd or
Adventures Without a Roadmap.
With an underscore after.
Oh yeah, it's Adventures. I should change it. I think I can change it. But right now it's Adventures _ Without a Roadmap. Because that's how I live my life. And that's how my brain works.
Yeah.
So yeah. Thanks everyone for joining us though.
Yeah, I hope you liked it. I think we're both just so tired right now.
I've been up since it's midnight. Yeah. It's been a long day. But yeah, this is fun. So thank you everyone for joining us. And I guess I don't have the record button. You have the record
I will
button.
stop it. And see you soon, guys. Bye.
Bye.